Thanks for being here with us for the live broadcast. And now we have another semi-finalist joining us, and that is Reuben Tsang, which is wonderful because Reuben actually only found out a week before this competition started that he had made it in to this competition. You jumped in to replace someone else. Wow. Right. How was that?
Oh, it was actually a lot to take in when I got that phone call. But everyone around me was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You got to take it. You have nothing to lose. So I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. And then I went for this opportunity, and it was a very stressful week, but
really?
But no, actually I've enjoyed the whole process. So
well, that's terrific, and congratulations, because not only did you make it in, but you made it through to the second round.
Yeah.
Which was, I remember saying backstage, I introduced you before you came on stage and saying to you, this is amazing. You said, oh, well, we'll just see how it goes. I thought, that sounds healthy. Yeah. Well, terrific.
I mean, with such little time, I think there's not much you can do. You just got to give it your best shot, I think. So I tried to, enjoy the performance, every moment of it. So yeah.
Well, obviously you had a lot of this repertoire already under your fingers, because these are not things that you can just learn in a few minutes.
Yeah, most of them. But actually the Australian work, I kind of started when I got the notice about being in the competition.
Wow. Okay. That was Carl Vine, right?
Carl Vine, Prelude and Lander Preludes. Yeah.
And was that a nice discovery?
Yeah, it was. It was actually really exciting to bring a piece within a few weeks, or not even a few weeks, but very full of character, every piece that I played, and I just really enjoyed, especially the thumper number 3.
Okay.
I think that was a really, I really enjoyed opening the program with that one.
Right, that's very interesting, because a lot of the pianists that are visiting have said very much the same thing, how much they've enjoyed getting to know Carl Vine's music. And of course, some of them who didn't know Australia before, some of them have actually made the connection between his music and Australia, and saying, oh yeah, I was practicing this and now I'm here, and now I understand, where this music sort of comes from in some ways. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But also, of course, you had Stravinsky on there as well.
Yes, that's right.
Stravinsky Agosti, right?
Agosti, yeah,
don't forget that bit or I'm in trouble. Yes. So that's also a rather big piece, yeah?
Yeah, it was a pretty challenging piece. I think I started maybe last year, kind of just touched it, learned through the notes, and kind of picked it up again at the start of this year for a competition in Denmark, Aarhus International Piano Competition.
Yeah.
And so I think that gave me a boost to, get this repertoire up, and I thought, why not use it again for this competition? So,
I guess you had to draw on your repertoire because,
with such little time.
With such little time. Clementi, Rachmaninoff, of course, came into the semi-finals then. Right. So tell us about the connection between those two. I mean, what's interesting, of course, it's always interesting, but in this competition, there is a lot of emphasis placed on designing programs, and thinking about how they go together. They're all things that take quite a bit of time,
yes.
Aren't they, really? Because, you sort of think about that sort of thing for a long period of time before you put different pieces together. But they seem to have worked very well, yes?
Yeah. I mean, these two pieces, I'm still a student doing a Bachelor of Music degree.
At the Queensland
Conservatorium. So, I'm learning lots of different repertoire, but I think these particular ones I thought would really work nicely. It was a very good contrast, I think, with the Clementi being such a bright, youthful piece, and then moving into this long struggle of Rachmaninoff's Etude Tableau.
Yeah. Indeed.
But then, of course, at the end, there's a very, very confident and celebratory march, which, very hopeful ending to things.
Yeah, Rachmaninoff seems to have got somewhere, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
The feeling, he's quite happy about
with such a long struggle, the very last one lightens up a lot.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. We move, of course, now next to chamber music, okay? Yeah. I guess you play lots of chamber music, and it's probably something you do with fellow students. What about within the family?
Within the family, I have done with my brother and another student from Coco Julian back in Cairns. We did 6 hands on one piano, but I think that's as far as I've been with like chamber music with my family. But
Right.
it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I do a lot of chamber music at the conservatorium, and it's very enjoyable. Yeah.
What do you have a preference for an instrument that you like to play with, or a combination?
Well, I mean, I'm still pretty new, I guess, to chamber music, but for the ones that I've done, I've done like piano trio, piano with strings, and piano quartet. Just recently, I also did the Berg Adagio
Very
for
beautiful.
clarinet and violin and piano.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's the most interesting combination I've done so far. But
It's an unusual combination.
yeah,
actually,
there's not much repertoire written for that combination, but but it's a very good blend. I think.
Yeah, it's a good blend. And
Yeah.
it's a very good piece, of course, and Berg is a wonderful composer.
Yes.
We didn't talk too much about this, but of course you come from Cairns.
I do.
And we have to tell our audience where Cairns is. Cairns is right up the top of the east coast of Australia. So, you know, it's how many thousands of miles or thousands of kilometres from Brisbane,
It would
for
be,
example?
yeah.
Yeah. No, well, probably I don't know how many thousands of kilometres from Sydney, but the same again.
A
right
long
up
way up there.
right up the top there in the tropics. Yeah. How was it growing up in Cairns and the sort of musical world of Cairns?
The music, actually, I really think Cairns has a really strong music scene up there. You know, Cairns might be known as, you know, a very laid back city, or not even a city as some people say, but within that, I went to Cairns State High School, and we really, the school focused a lot on music. So I've done a lot of music in high school, and did Eisteddfods and things like that, local Eisteddfods. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes we underestimate the richness of the musical life in a lot of Australian cities, you know. It's not on a professional level sometimes, but, well, mostly, of course, unless it's in one of the big cities. But there's a lot of things happening, choirs and orchestras and ensembles and choral societies and Eisteddfods, as you said, you know, which have sort of happen on a annual basis.
Yeah, exactly.
Give you a chance to hear live music, but also to perform.
Yeah.
It's true. If you're lucky enough to move through to the next part of this competition, you've chosen Beethoven and Liszt number 2.
That's
so
correct.
Beethoven number 3, right?
Number 3.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's C minor, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful piece.
Yeah. So how did they come about?
How did that come about? Well, I've had it for a few years. Haven't touched it, you know, I've been playing it for some months this year. But yeah, I think this is my second Beethoven concerto that I'm learning. But yeah, I was going to play it for the Townsville Australian Vocal Concerto competition, but it got cancelled that year. So I've had it for quite a long time, actually. And I've played it with the Cairns State High School Orchestra, just the last movement.
Oh, wow, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun playing that. Yeah.
Of course, what we didn't mention also was the fact that you were back here in 2016. You were performing in this particular event as a showcase performer.
That's right.
What's the feeling of coming back again and performing now as a competitor? Not just a competitor, but a competitor in the semi-finals. Did you ever dream that?
Yeah, well, the first thing I thought when I got to Verbruggen Hall this year was, wow, it's so much smaller and intimate than what I imagined. Because I remember last time it was such a big hall in my mind. But so that was the first observation I made. But yeah, it's a dream come true, honestly, to be able to play in this competition. I've been wanting to play in this for so long. So
indeed, and of course you're taller now, which is why it doesn't look
Maybe
quite so.
that's
What about your teacher in Brisbane? She must be very happy that you've made it this far.
Oh yes, she's very very supportive, Natasha Vlasenko. She's staying for the semi-final rounds as well, and supporting me through that. So I'm very appreciative of
Lovely.
her. Yeah.
And of course, you know, who's watching online? Okay, at home, I take it family, brother, everybody is supporting you. Are they sending you messages and
yes.
sort of cheering you on?
Yeah, they are, and I love reading those messages and getting back to them. So yeah.
Almost as good as having them here.
Yeah.
No, very, very nice.
Actually, some flew down So my dad actually flew down for the semi-final rounds, and my brother's also here, and yeah, and one of my teachers, Helen Smith from before, also decided to come and watch the recital today. So I'm so happy to have all this support.
Of course, and you feel them there and you sense them there. That's great. Oh, it's very nice. One little last question, but it's a little bit philosophical. Just to ask you about what it means to be a musician in the world today. The world's facing a lot of, a lot of big challenges, and music can do things, can't it?
Yeah, I really think music is such a powerful tool to communicate, just being in the moment in the music, and kind of escaping from all the, troubles in the world, and just really appreciating, it's a live performance as an audience member, but also as a performer is such a magical experience. Yeah.
I can imagine. That's terrific. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Of course, we're all barracking for the homeboy and really hoping that you do well. And good luck with the next round of the semi-finals. And
thank you.
Indeed, for as far as you come, and with your musical career.
Thank you.
It all goes really, really well.
Yes, thank you.
Reuben Tsang from North Queensland in the city of Cairns was joining me there in that little chat. This is the 2023 Sydney International Piano Competition.